Gen Con is over, and when that's over, you know the take's over, the break's over, here on the Level Cap Podcast, featuring me and the return of the one, the only, Brad Talton Jr. And otherwise.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back, everyone. He's back.
Yup.
Oh, Brad, I've missed you. I missed you last episode.
Oh, I missed you too, Marco. But last episode, sounds like you guys had a good time without me. So
Yeah, Josh was great.
It was fun to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, Josh obviously did not mention anything about the poor working conditions where he's chained and, like, works at a copper mine. But hey, that totally didn't happen.
Oh my gosh, Josh. Like, I know he makes it sound a certain way. I listened to the podcast and it was a lot of fun, but you know, sometimes it'll be like 4 o'clock and I'll be like, Josh, let's just call it a day. Go home. And he's like, no, I need this extra hour. Or I'm like, hey, Josh, you know, if you want to go to like this convention, you know, why don't you just take a few extra days off? And he's like, no, I need to work. What will I do if I can't work? I think that he really depends on, you know, having that structure in his life.
I see. You know, I think that was really funny because I asked Josh, like, hey, Josh, can you tell us anything about yourself? Like, Josh, the guy, what do you do for fun? And he's like, haha, you assume I have fun. And I'm like, oh no,
Josh has tons of fun. Like, I mean, you talked to him about his RPGs. Like, he's a huge RPG guy.
Okay, and, that's fair.
Yeah, he's, gosh, what other kind of stuff is he into? He's into anime. Like, he and another local game designer, they get together and they watch anime every week.
Oh, that's fun.
Seriously, like, I go over and to like Chad's house in the evening to play games, and Josh rents a room from Chad, and I go and knock on the door, and Josh is gone like every night. He's always doing something.
Oh man!
So
he's a busy boy.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I don't have fun, but he's all over the place. He has a lot of fun.
I see. Okay, but I heard that you had a lot of fun over at Gen Con. That was the reason why you weren't there.
It was a good show. We had a great time.
Oh man. Give me some highlights.
Well, let's see. We watched Evo at the end. So that was pretty fun. We sold out of Professor Treasure and out of Temporal Odyssey.
Oh, that's great.
And honestly, you know, we see all our friends, and it's just a great time to get together with friends. So I would say, yeah, we just had a really good time at Evo, or at Gen Con, not Evo. We didn't go to Evo, unfortunately. Next time. But we had a great time at Gen Con. It was a lot of fun, and I look forward to going back again.
Oh, that was great. Did Laura drink you guys under the table?
No, not specifically. We went to like one bar, and when you go anywhere with Trey, you know, nobody outdrinks Trey, so that's,
wait, Trey Chambers is a god drinker, is what you're saying. He's a dwarf. Is he a dwarf?
Trey's like a self-described functioning alcoholic.
Oh no. Oh no.
He takes pride in it.
Oh man. I want to see Trey and Laura fight in a drinking contest or something.
Oh my
I just
goodness.
want to see who drops first.
That's silly. Well, we did find this nice little like cigar lounge under Indianapolis, and we sat and had cocktails and cigars one night, and that was pretty neat.
That's pretty interesting. Did you feel like a crime mob boss as you smoked your cigar?
Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
Oh man, that's always great. I'm really excited to find out more about what happened in Gen Con, but I guess if I wanted to know more, I should have just gone, right?
You should come one year. Yeah, we should bring you along.
Oh man, one of these days I'm gonna end up in Gen Con, and you're all gonna finally see how short I am.
That's fine. We'll just have you sit on Charles's shoulders. Then you'll be the tallest guy in the room.
Or all of you can like squat a bit when you take pictures with me, please.
Oh my goodness.
My image.
I'll get you a step stool. Don't worry.
Excellent. I like that. All right, Brad. So I'm really excited to have you back, but, you know, pleasantries aside, let's move on to what we've been doing. Brad, what have you been doing this week? because I want to know. I want to know from the bottom of my Kokoro heart.
Okay, well, this week, Charles Ingstrom, who I think you had on the show 2 weeks prior, Charles came and visited us here in Albuquerque. And so I took Charles around to some of the sites here in town. He went up on the mountaintop. We have a tramway that connects the ground to the top of the Sandia Mountain. It's got a great view up there. We played a bunch of board games. We played Stuffed Fables, and we played Stuffed Fables again. And then we finished Charterstone.
Did you play the one game that Charles is the best at?
We didn't. We played Exceed, actually.
Did he wreck you in Exceed?
I wanted to show him the new upcoming Exceed characters. No, I had the advantage because I knew all the characters, so I did manage to beat him at Exceed.
I see.
But it was a narrow victory.
Okay.
Let's see. But then we went up to Santa Fe. We went to this place called Meow Wolf. I don't know if I've told you about this place before.
Meow Wolf?
Yes, Meow Wolf. You can look it up, Santa Fe Meow Wolf, and it's sort of like an interactive contemporary art museum. Anyway,
Okay.
Super cool place, and Charles had a great time. We had some like artisan tacos, walked around downtown Santa Fe, and then came back, and then he was on the plane and away.
Wow, how long was he there?
Came in on Thursday and left on Sunday, so a few
man.
days. Outside of that, like last week, I got back Tuesday afternoon, and then I took Wednesday off. So Thursday was kind of the only day that I really got anything done, and I just did some work on Seventh Cross.
Oh, any big developments, or is it more just like optimization?
No, I'm just getting things ready to put a full castle onto Tabletop Simulator. I'm working on the book portion right now.
Oh man, sounds beautiful to me. In case people listening don't know, Charles Engstrom is also known as Moon Knight, also known as BattleCon World Champ, just in case you guys didn't know.
Yeah. Well, Charles is a good friend, and we talk online and we talk at Gen Con. He's volunteered for us for I guess it's been 5 years now, 4 years now. But
wow.
Anyway, but yeah, it's good to have friends
fun.
come out and visit us.
Friends.
And I think of Charles as a friend, not as a BattleCon World Champion, but as somebody who is good friends with me. But yeah, we had a different BattleCon World Champion this year, actually.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, a new guy, Nathan, came in and it was a very close final battle. So it was very exciting and really cool.
Yeah, we've toppled the champ. We've toppled the champ. It's quite interesting to me. I don't know what the final Gen Con World team was. What was Nathan's team?
I don't know his entire team, but I know that his Pendros beat Charles's Tannis for the final match.
That's insane. Oh, Pendros, finally, Brad, your favorite character represented.
Oh, yeah. No, it was good. It was good. And I'm really glad that there's still, there's fresh blood in BattleCon. And people are upsetting tournament with unexpected characters and with unexpected players.
Yeah,
so
next year
great.
It has to be Voco World Champ. That's
with the new
goal.
Influx of characters coming in, it certainly could be.
Oh yeah, who knows? I'm really excited for this upcoming Kickstarter. We can talk more about it later, but yeah, I'm really excited for some of the characters in that new box, especially Daijin and Korra.
Daijin, who was designed by Charles, actually.
Wait, Charles made Daijin. Daijin's great. I have to say.
So let me turn this around, Marco, and ask, what have you been doing?
Oh, gee, golly, gosh. So, somebody actually sent in a request for a game club. But I think I ended up deciding not to propose it to you because it was another dungeon roguelike dungeon crawler, and I was like, I think Brad's sick of these. So I'm
not sick of them, but I didn't have time to play anything last week. Did you play
exactly, because of Gen Con and everything. So I decided to humor one of our listeners and talk about this game I've been playing called Vagante. I think I've already talked about this on podcast before. And I mentioned it a little bit, but the big thing about this is that when I talked about it back then, I only had like 2-3 hours in it. Now I have a little bit more. I have around 10, and I unlocked the best thing about the game that made me want to keep playing the game. Guess, Brad, what did I unlock?
let's see, customizable character powers,
Close.
merchant class.
Oh, so close, but it was a class. It's a class that focuses entirely on punching things and only punching things.
Oh no, brawler class.
It's a brawler class, exactly.
Oh
So
no.
that's what the viewer said to, like, he's like, hey, have you played the content? Like, a little bit, yeah. And he's like, did you unlock the brawler class? And I'm like, there's a brawler class? So that's why I ended up playing it for an entire week.
Oh man.
Yeah, so nothing's as good as, like, going into a dungeon, seeing a dragon, and then killing a dragon with your bare hands by just punching it in the face. It's been fun, but aside from that, I've recently been watching a new series, well, an old series that recently concluded. Ever watched Grimm? You ever watch that show?
Grimm. A little, I think.
Yeah.
This is the live-action TV show about, like, the Grimm brothers? They hunt monsters?
Well, no. It's about their descendants.
Yeah. But they hunt monsters, right? It's a Monster of the Week thing?
Yeah, it's a Monster of the Week thing. So if you watch stuff like Buffy or whatever, it's basically that. But I think the innovation, quote unquote, that they had was basically that it's structured like it's a police procedural.
Uh-huh.
But it's in a world that's like Buffy. So the main character is a police officer / detective who basically goes around solving crime, and most of the time the said crime was perpetrated by one of these monsters. Because in their world, like half of the people in the world are this thing called Vesen, who are like animal people. They're basically furries. They're like half animal, half people. And like most of the crimes you see perpetrated on the show were actually perpetrated by like a werewolf or like a witch or something like that. And this guy who is the titular Grimm has the ability to see the Vesen for who they really are. So like when most people see regular people, he actually sees like the half animal hybrids and werewolves and monsters and blah 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 blah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's all structured like a police procedural.
I think my mom watched that for a bit. Yeah. She's into this kind of TV shows. I've watched Supernatural, but not too far past that.
I see. My partner says that Supernatural is less good than Grimm, so really? I watched Grimm. Wow. Yeah,
that's a strong endorsement.
Yeah, it's a strong endorsement. My partner loves this kind of stuff, and it's great. So that's what I've been doing. But Brad, really, I'm more interested in one thing from you, and it's your segment, also known as The Pipeline, where we talk about some interesting developments happening in Level 99 games. And really, Brad, I'm really interested in what you have to say. Because it's August 11, August 13, and something's coming. A storm is brewing.
Oh, wait, are we talking about BattleCon Unleashed? Or BattleCon Online?
Why not both?
Well, we've talked a little bit about both of these, but yeah, let me tell you about where we are at right now with the development of those. So currently we're in the process of building out the Kickstarter page and also getting our quotes. So I don't know if all of our listeners know, but we had a little bit of a fiasco with Imperial Spells and Steam where there were some mistakes in our printer's quote and the plastic bits didn't come out priced exactly as we anticipated. So we're having to get those fixed. And it's been a huge hassle for the past few weeks. That's what I've been working on mostly in my office time, is making sure that Imperial comes out at the quality that we all expect. Now, that said, my current plans, I'm working on all of the BattleCon Unleashed products, which is the storage box, the Wanderers, Dev Remastered, a bunch of promo characters, and a big art book. All that stuff needs to, we need to make sure that it comes out just right, that it comes out at good quality, and that we don't have any surprises after the project ends or during the project at the 11th hour. So, send that. I make a big folder, my RFQ folder, and I send it out to a bunch of different printers, and they make their bid on the project, and then I take all those bids, I compare prices, I choose a printer to be my partner for the project, and then we sign a contract and we start working on it. So once we get the pricing and we settle on a printer, then we'll probably start running the Exceed Kickstarter project. Make sure that we get enough to
BattleCon.
Yeah, BattleCon. Sorry, I Exceed.
I was like, oh, Exceed Season 3? Oh?
No, our next Exceed is probably not going to Kickstarter. We'll probably just do it directly to retail.
Oh man, is that how much faith you have in the IP that you got for Season 3?
Usually it's just a caveat of licensing. Licensors really don't want you to go to Kickstarter with their project.
That's fair.
Because they don't want to. They don't want any risk of failure, and I understand that. Even when, like, from my perspective, I'm like, yeah, we can definitely fund like the price of a basic seed box. They don't want to take any risks and make it look, like one thing or another. Like, to keep that information, close to the chest. So I get it. But it means that we'll have to do pre-orders through our store directly rather than going to Kickstarter.
That's fine. I'm pretty sure the IP that you got will make it a good seller.
Hope so. But it's a little early to say anything at this moment, IP wise. But for BattleCon, we are getting ready for the next big BattleCon project. That will be our next big project, and will be coming out in probably August next year. We'll certainly have it, hopefully a little earlier next year. But it's a lot of projects. It's going to be a ton of new characters. It's going to be a huge amount of new content, new cards, and a lot of paper. So,
a lot of paper. I can only assume.
I mean, tuck boxes for every character, bases for every fighter. It's, just that is like
massacring a forest. We're massacring a forest, right? That's what's happening.
No, it's not that bad. It doesn't take as much paper as you might think.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I do think about that, and it's one reason that I'm trying to get more into video games. So.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, Brad, you recently revealed the box for Wanderers, showing off all of the characters that we have. Oh my gosh, that Anya versus Feylana art, though. Oh,
it's pretty cool, right?
Chills. I love the designs of these two characters. Feylana is actually one of my most anticipated characters in that box, alongside Daijin. Because Feylana is a combat lawyer. What else could... Oh, it's so good.
It's great. And I think Anya is our first, really non-humanoid character to appear on a box cover.
Yeah, that is true.
So, although I guess she's pretty humanoid, but also pretty not. It's
she's a harpy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the first really non-human character to appear on a box cover.
Oh my gosh. Neat. I'm really interested with the fact that all of our fighters seem to be humanoid. We should have non-humanoid fighters at some point.
Well, we have Lim. Don't forget.
Oh, Lim is just a dog, right? You're right.
Is a dog character, and we will have one more new non-humanoid fighter in Devastation Remastered. I think I told you about him, or rather, I told you about it.
Wait, what? No, I don't think so.
Well, it'll be a surprise when I reveal it then. If you didn't listen.
we only know Gar.
Yeah, I think we've only revealed Gar so far. Noko's finishing up art for the other one, but the other one's pretty cool.
Oh man, if it's a non-humanoid, that instantly makes them on the top of my most anticipated list, because I love non-humanoid characters in fighting games.
It's a non-humanoid character, and it's also a psionic character. So, so look out for the reveal there pretty soon.
I'm really excited about that. How about another BattleCon, Brad? Another BattleCon I'm also very excited about.
BattleCon Online?
Yeah, Brad, what happened to BattleCon Online? I thought it was out on August 10, Brad.
It was meant to be out on August 10th. And hopefully it's out when you listen to this, or will be out very soon when you listen to this. What happened was we had a few notes from Steam of things we had to fix before we could do our launch. And because we were out at Gen Con, we didn't have time to fix them adequately. Cameron worked valiantly, got a lot of stuff done, but it just, with Chad being out, and with Laura being out, and with me being out, we just didn't have the time to correct all those issues in time. Yeah. So we corrected them all now, and we're uploading the game again, and hopefully we can push the button this Friday to make it go live.
Oh man, I'm so excited, Brad. Excited.
It's going to be fun, but it's not going to be much different. I mean, there's nothing There's nothing really crazy that's different in BattleCon than what you've played in the beta. So if you've already played it, you know what to expect.
Hey,
We did
but
do a big visual overhaul of everything.
yes,
And we
so
posted that online so you can see the updates.
yeah, I'm
But,
so excited about the
yeah.
board. The board looks so much better now,
It
and
does.
like,
It looks really good.
oh my gosh, the stand-ups look great, and then the
It's
background.
nice to
There's
have a little
finally a
color
background.
in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, there's finally like background art. I want multiple stages, Brad. I've been
Me too. It'll be in an update.
Oh, that's so good. And then what else? We're gonna have translations, we're gonna have more players. Like sure,
Yeah.
nothing changes, but everything changes, Brad.
Yep.
Everything.
And I hope that it'll be real successful so that we can do story modes and dungeon modes in the future.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I recently speaking to this degree, I just recently finished the Filipino translation for all the current characters and the next upcoming character, who's Evil Hikaru, by the way. That's public knowledge. So,
Yep.
Yeah, so I finished all of their translations. It was very interesting, to say the least. Very interesting, because let's just say that translation work is very hard. And I ended up having to Google a lot of words that I never knew I would have to use. And I honestly, the worst thing had to be the fact that we don't have a word for stunned. And I think that ended up being a big roadblock for me, because we don't have a word for that. So I think it ended up being like surprised. I think that ended up being the translation for what I put, because we literally have no word to say stunned. So I consulted a Filipino professor at the university, and she was like, yeah, just put surprised, because that's the closest you'll ever get. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, because
I see.
that ended up being the problem. I think it's just the way Filipino is structured, and like sometimes instead of saying something, we just say the event that happened, because it's a very long-winded language. In fact, you probably can tell that I'm Filipino because my English involves me being very long-winded.
I see. I didn't realize that was a tell, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a very good tell. So that's it. That's it for the pipeline. If you guys have any more questions about BattleCon Online or BattleCon Unleashed, people are asking a lot about BattleCon Unleashed. In fact, they were quite disappointed that you didn't post anything about the big box.
Well, it's coming. It's coming. We don't have renders of the big box yet because it's still a lot of work away.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty big box. I'm really excited for what it looks like. If it's anything like the Exceed big box, I'll be very happy.
It'll be a bit nicer than the Exceed big box because it will be built to actually hold the talk boxes. Specific, like it'll be sized for them and have trays for them so they all line up and pull out correctly.
Are you saying that there's going to be an insert?
Yes, there will be an insert.
Oh no,
inserts.
People are going to love this. People are like, Level 99 games, please have good inserts. Finally, everyone, good inserts. So, there you go. I'm really happy to hear that. And Brad, I think we should move on to our next segment. Are you okay with that?
Sure. Yeah, let's move on.
Oh yeah, Alon Z to the 99 questions, where I, your host Marco De Santos, take all of your wonderful questions, bathe in them, and then drain the water to give you some great answers. And Brad's there to some capacity, because he probably...
Well, how are these questions now your bathwater? Your dirty bathwater?
Yeah, no, so they get processed through me, and that produces answers, right? That's how it works. That's my
I don't think that's better. That's not better.
Okay.
Let's just imagine that the questions are questions which are asked to you and then answered, becoming answers for those who seek answers.
I see. So it's as if these questions were statements and or inquiries regarding certain things, and then I use my knowledge and you use your knowledge to produce statements which hopefully fulfill these inquiries.
Yeah, like that. That's so right, and doesn't put any weird images in my head.
Okay, that's great, Brad. Question number 1. Are you ready for Mambo number 5?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, Mambo number 1. The last BattleCon or the last BattleCon on Kickstarter? Question mark.
Unleashed is going to be the last BattleCon Kickstarter. We're not ending the game. We're still committing to doing more BattleCon stuff in the future. But we don't want to take up all of our Kickstarter slots with BattleCon games. I think level 99 is mature enough that we can do our BattleCon games and support the line without going to Kickstarter every year. And so I want to use those slots for more upcoming games and other big box game designs. And where the reason if it was just Wanderers, we would just print Wanderers. We wouldn't go to Kickstarter for Wanderers either. But for Unleashed and for Dev Remastered, it's such a big box that we are going to have to, have people support us to produce these. So that's why we're going to Kickstarter for this one. But the plan is not to make more BattleCon Kickstarters.
I see. So what will the model be? Like, will it be like releasing sets, or will it be more like what you did for Jin and Murgerum, right? Like, wherein you release specific characters.
I think it will be more specific characters, and it won't be, like large boxes formats anymore. But we'll see. Like those are all decisions for, for another time. Things that are still being thought out
for future Brad
considered. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah, it's a question for future Brad.
All right, future Brad, you'll listen to this episode at some point. I think I'm really interested in that like model because it seems like we're basically emulating video games at this point, right? Because video games release DLC characters. And if we ever get to that point, we're essentially just making DLC characters. I like that concept.
I mean, it's like a living video game. Like, most MOBA games are like that. A lot of battle arena games are like that. Even Street Fighter V is now like that, where it's not it's a living game. Things keep coming out over time, and the game keeps evolving. And I think it's really fun because you log in, you get tired, take a little while off, you log in 2 years later, and then there's like all kinds of crazy new stuff, and you can learn the game, like explore the game all over again.
Oh my gosh, and Brad! I can't believe you just mentioned that because I'm experiencing that right now. Because I recently just got back into HOTS, and I'm like, who's this white man? Who's Alex Straza?
Oh yeah, white man was the first Warcraft boss that I ever beat. First raid boss that I ever beat in Warcraft. So just got kind of a special place in my heart.
What'd you play in Warcraft? What'd you play in WoW?
Oh, I played a mage.
Were you a human mage, an orc mage?
Undead horde mage. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's great. That's interesting. I haven't played World of Warcraft, huh?
Yeah, like you never ever need a potion of water breathing, which is kind of depressing because I was an alchemist and I could actually make one, but I never needed one.
Is it bad that when you said you were an alchemist, I was like, of course you were?
Well, of course I was. Alchemy, herbalism. I almost went herbalism mining, but I really needed. I just didn't have anything to do with all these materials, and as much as they're fun to sell, I kind of wanted to make stuff too.
I see. So you forwent your merchant class and decided to become an alchemist.
Yeah.
Oh no, Brad! But what about the merchant fantasy?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Warcraft
is not the best game to like if you're into like crafting systems. Guild Wars 2 is really good for crafting because you can master all the crafting and there's tons of stuff to make, and it's actually more of a discovery based system. So like you can use different ingredients and create different things than you expect.
I see.
Sometimes to get a recipe, you have to like go across the world to find somebody who can teach it to you.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
It's actually got a really good crafting system. That was my favorite part of Guild Wars 2, and there was a lot to like in that game.
Oh man, I actually played a little bit of Guild Wars 2, but not a lot. Like I had a level 5 toon, and that was it. It's really hard to play MMOs when you don't have friends who also play the MMO.
It's true. But I know Alice plays Guild Wars 2, so we could always get together with her and play it.
Yeah, the problem is I'd be on a different server because I'd have to play on C, right?
Maybe. I don't know if you have to. Like with a lot of with Warcraft, you can play any server.
That's fair, but it won't be a good experience for the person who's playing like halfway across the world, right?
That's true. However, Guild Wars 2 is not quite a MOBA, right? You can be a few seconds late and your auto attacks will still work because that's the nature of the thing.
But game feel, Brad. Game feel.
Anyway, how did we get onto this MMO tangent?
It's okay, Brad. This is what the podcast is always about. It's always about us tangentially doing things. Next question, though. Thoughts on the competitive BattleCon scene and what kinds of meta, top players, and playing styles will dominate there, especially for BattleCon Online? See, this question was originally like something I wasn't planning on asking, because it was like, it's kind of set in stone. We know who the good players are. We know what the meta is in BattleCon paper. But because they asked about BattleCon Online specifically, I found this question to be quite interesting because it got me thinking about the meta. It got me thinking about like what's good and what's not. And I realized a lot of things. How about you, Brad? What do you think?
Well, I know that the paper meta, the dominant archetypes are tacticians and disruptors. Tend to do the best. Specialists actually tend to do worse. You don't see a lot of specialist characters at our paper tournaments. That said, I don't know what the tournament meta is going to look like online, and I hope that it will continue to vary, especially as Daniel continues to tweak balance on the characters and change numbers. That we'll see more and more different styles emerge, and we'll see different characters show up in the in the top. Like I remember in the Exceed tournament this year in Gen Con, we actually had, I want to say 24 different characters in our top 8.
Wow.
So
that pretty much means like everyone played different characters.
Yeah,
wow.
People brought really diverse teams, and it speaks to being a really healthy game. BattleCon 2, we had a lot of diversity in the top teams. I don't know the exact number for BattleCon. Yeah, but like you saw like Pendros came out of left field and won the final match. That's pretty cool.
Oh, so
my hope is that like new gameplay will emerge, and I think that brawlers may do better in this set because of the timers. Actually, there's not enough time. Like the time pressure will make tacticians a little more difficult to play. Mm-hmm. And so I think that, and I don't know that for sure, but I think that brawlers will see a little bit more play, and specialists will probably remain tough to play, but that's sort of their design.
That's the point.
These characters have to be played really carefully to exploit their strategies, and characters like Marmalade, once they get 5 concentration tokens, they can basically win. It's very hard to stop them once they get their ball rolling.
If they get their ball rolling, that's the big deal.
And you just have to stop them from doing that. So we'll see. We'll see where it takes us, but I do think that it'll continue to evolve. One thing I really want to do, and maybe some of our listeners have some suggestions for this, it'd be really great to create some kind of limited format for BattleCon.
Ooh.
But I don't know how exactly it would work. So curious what you think a limited format for BattleCon looks like, because that would be something we could do in BattleCon Online. Would be really cool.
Because all I can think about is like tavern brawl-esque thing where it's like, brawlers only or tacticians only or something
Tavern brawl type of thing where there's new rules each week would be really cool. And that's something that I definitely want to do in the future. And we do have support for it in the system.
I see. So I think in my part of this, like I get to contribute to a question. I want to look back on some of the tournaments we've had pre-release, right? So we've had pre-release tournaments. And the meta for them has been very, very interesting to me personally. And what ended up happening was you're kind of correct in your thinking that brawlers end up winning a lot or being overrepresented at least. So like a lot of teams ended up having characters like Kimbe, they ended up having characters like Cadenza or like Mikhail, like a bunch of like these huge stat characters who just like basically their entire playstyle is I can play a thing and then it will work like 80% of the time, right? Like that tends to be very good in BattleCon Online because of the time pressure, right? Because it's like
that's why disruptors tend to do really well in tournaments because they can disrupt very consistently. Yeah, and they can prevent other people from playing consistently.
Exactly. So like characters like Schecter would also work that way. Schecter won one of the tournaments because basically Schecter doesn't care what you do. If you can't deal with a Prio 7th attack every beat, then Schecter just wins. Like that's just how it works, right? And it's your job to make Schecter stop, but Schecter doesn't have to think about what she has to do. She just does it, and it's your problem to fix it. But one other big thing that Brad didn't mention that I think is very useful here is that the meta for BattleCon Online is heavily different from the meta from PaperCon, not just because there's a time limit, but also because of one huge factor. And it's that not all the characters are in the game yet. That means...
Yeah, that's true.
It's basically BattleCon Online is essentially a limited format compared to PaperCon, right? Which means that certain characters dominate BCO because, well, simply put, their counters don't exist. They're not in the game. So, characters like Cadenza are doing extremely well because characters like Saga, Stannis, Seth, like all of these characters who would usually body Cadenza aren't in the game yet. So it's very interesting. The meta does tend to lean very brawler heavy because of the fact that none of the control-y specialists are in the game yet. Like the only specialists we have are people like Seven, people like Kalistar, but these are characters who aren't like that specialist archetype, wherein they, how do you say this? Wherein they basically do a bunch of like crazy effects that mess with stats, mess with range, have auto dodges. Like I guess
people,
the archetype would
you don't have people like Sherry and Tennis and such,
or Tatsumi, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not there. The like Kadath might seem like Tatsumi, but he's not at all like Tatsumi because he doesn't have the auto. He doesn't have as much movement, positioning, control, defense as Tatsumi does. He's way more offensive, right? So a lot of these defensive controllers aren't in the game yet, and I feel like that meta shakes things up a bit. It just goes to show, right? Like Charles's team in PaperCon is like Tannis, Sagas plus some other controller, Tatsumi, right? So it's So it's stuff like that. Very interesting. I can't wait to see it evolve as well, especially when we add new characters, especially when we have characters that don't exist in PaperCon. So, like, you have people like Riflum, Seven, and they're shaking things up, Riflum's tier 1 now, so yay.
And we're planning to add a few more of those each season. So we'll see some new characters come out as BattleCon Online develops, too. We have plans for this season. I believe it's going to be... don't quote me on this, but I think it's Ariel Malafez and Gian Erjan.
Oh my gosh, I love Gian Erjan
this season. So I think those are the two.
I'm so excited. I have a big soft spot for people with multiple weapons. And that's Gian's entire thing, right? He has like 3 weapons.
No, I think you're mistaken. Gian's the one with the shield from Argent. Okay,
then I might be mistaken then, because I thought he had like 3 different weapons and he did different stuff with them.
No, it's someone else. Gian is a paladin type character, and he's a full defensive heavyweight type character.
Oh, so he's like Amon.
He's kind of like Amon and Eligor mashed together. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's mega defensive. I guess it makes sense. His weapon is a shield, so
yeah.
So sounds very cool.
Yeah, wait, he's going to be a really cool character, though.
Ariel is the wing?
The one with the claw.
Oh, the other claw.
The other claw. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I know her playstyle.
And so, like Schecter has, like, +1 speed tokens. Ariel has +2 power tokens.
Yeah, she hurts. As far as I know, Ariel hurts.
And she can use them the same way that Schecter can use for speed tokens.
Oh, that sounds painful. Really painful. Yeah, but I think I saw like a pre-release, or rather a playtest version of her kit, and I'm like, why does this character hurt so much? I'm like,
yeah, this is a character that can make like Cadenza and Cesar think twice about standing next to her.
Okay, so if your character can make Cadenza think twice about trading, you hurt, right? Oh my gosh. Oh, that sounds really cool. I'm really interested in all that. Again, the meta for BattleCon Online is going to be great. I hope all of you help us develop it, by finding new tech, finding new characters, making guides, everything. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Brad, last question. I'm sorry, we went on another tangent. Again, what is this episode? Tangential. Brad, last question. Since you said last time that you didn't want to do a Darkstalker season of Exceed, it got me curious. What series would you not want to make an Exceed season of?
We've gotten a few offers that were not good for, that we didn't feel were good for the game. As you know, we got some backlash over the female depictions in the art for season 1. Which, it's surely my fault for accepting the artwork. But I also like to defer some of the blame to Jasko for making it. I really wanted to change Natali's costume, but I couldn't. Anyway, not the point. But the point is, one of the series we were offered was Senran Kagura, and we turned that down.
No, we can't.
You don't necessarily need to Google Senran Kagura.
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't.
Yeah. It's
pervy ninjas. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Basically that. Let's see what other we've been offered a few animes that weren't like, not mainstream enough. The thing about a license is that if the license doesn't isn't instantly recognizable, then it's really not worth it. You could just make an off-brand license and get about the same effect.
I see. So, can you give an example? I can't think of anything.
Yeah. Let's see. What's a great example? If I wanted to,
Can you
maybe not something like Disgaea, right? Like, it's a cool license, and I really like Disgaea, but it's not mainstream enough that people would recognize it, say, at Target. So it's probably not a good license for the brand.
I see. I understand.
Like a license like I don't know. There's a lot of shows that I like that I think are really good, but that wouldn't be necessarily great because they don't have the same brand recognition. I really like I liked Gokudo, like this old anime Gokudo, but it would be foolish to buy a license to it as opposed to buying something like, say Full Metal Alchemist or Cowboy Bebop or something that people will recognize on store shelves.
I see. So, the ideal would be you get Naruto or Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's actually probably the best example. Like, say you were offered Boruto, right? You wouldn't want to take Boruto because nobody recognizes the brand name. They only recognize Naruto, at least in America.
Okay, that makes sense. If you could get Dragon Ball, I'd be freaking all over this thing, man.
Yeah, that's the other thing is it'd be great to get something like Dragon Ball, but I don't like Dragon Balls. I don't want to make it.
Brad, no! Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you watched the Fighter Z finals, but it was pretty bad.
Oh, you don't like Dragon Ball?
Well, I don't like Dragon Ball, but the Dragon Ball Fighter Z finals was just the same auto combo over and over and over again. It was the last two teams, the top 8, there were literally like 6 characters.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And this isn't a 3v3 fighter, which means there was room for 24 different characters.
Yes.
And there were there were half the characters. Obviously, half the characters in the roster are Goku. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Fighter Z. It gets me on a bad tangent. But it was. I'm not a big Dragon Ball person.
I see. I'm a big Dragon Ball person. Oh, I guess we can't be friends anymore. Just kidding.
Well, maybe if Shenron grants your wish, you can be my friend still.
Oh no! Yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, I think I have that same qualm about Fighter Z.
Yeah,
half the cast is Goku.
I don't know if you watched the finals. It was pretty wild.
I heard it was pretty hype, but it was, as a finals, right?
It was silly. The thing, first off, it was really weird. The person sitting on the right side of the screen always lost, except for very few games. But in the final match, the champion, and the
right, Sonic Fox switched.
Yeah, so between match, he lost the champion's final, and so he asked to switch seats, and then he just completely bodied the opponent on the next game, and it was wow. But later on, somebody put up a graphic online that was it showed the wishes that you can make when you get all the Dragon Balls, and then they shopped in switch seats as the bottom one.
Nice, I like that. The best. That should be an actual thing. Oh man, but I think that's true for every fighting game, right?
I think they're probably going to discover that there was some bug that makes player one advantaged. Because the difference in play, after the same matchup after they switched seats was ridiculous.
Really? I always thought it was just a side effect of the fact that Dragon Ball FighterZ was a primarily online game, and so whenever you played, you were always on player one side. So I'm pretty sure.
Are you always on player one side?
I'm when I played, I'm always on player one side.
You think they mirror the battlefield for both players?
I think maybe they mirror it, right? I don't think I've. Yeah, I don't think I've been player 2. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering, but yeah, it would make sense in that context, right?
It would, but in other fighting games, I've usually been player 2 randomly.
I see.
I've never played a game where it actually mirrors you. even though I've thought to myself this would make sense.
Yeah, like it makes sense to mirror. I think Rising Thunder did that. Rising Thunder mirrored the screen whenever you did that. So yeah. Anyway, whatever. That's it. All right, so that's the last question. And Brad, we still have a little bit of time, so let's move on to our last segment, also known as Otherwise, where Brad and I play a rotating game, and I think this time we're gonna design shop, because Brad suggested something very interesting before the start of the show, and I thought it would be very fun to do, and it also calls back to one of our games that I haven't played enough of, because I think it's a pretty cool game. Brad, tell us what you thought we should do for this last segment.
Oh, well, I wanted to consider how we might turn some of our board games into video games. Like I've talked to you about, what a Millennium Blades video game might look like, and obviously see what a Battlecon game might look like. But what kind of game would we make for some of our older titles? And I was thinking of titles like, for example, what kind of video game would you make for
7 card?
Yeah, 7-card Slugfest would be a good one. But also games like Resistor. It could be really neat to do a video game, or even like Power Play. What kind of video game would you make for Power Play?
Oh my gosh. What kind of video game would you make for Power Play?
Yeah, like, I bet you could do something like Fortnite, and it would be really cool, but with, like, secret objectives.
And you're all, like, monsters or whatever, right? With all of your superpowers and all that stuff. That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it would. So, yeah. I was just thinking about these, and I was wondering, and maybe, maybe we will talk about 7-Card Slugfest this week, but you guys who are at home listening, send us a comment. Tell us if you want to hear about video game ideas, or if you have any video game ideas for other games in Level 99 Games lineup, and we'll see how we can digitize them in the future.
Yeah. So I already thought about the 7-card Slugfest thing. So be with me, okay? Stay with me on this magical journey that I'm about to do.
Okay.
So Brad, I think 7-card Slugfest as a video game would be best played as a VR game, right?
Okay.
Right? And then, I don't know, it's like a VR boxing game, wherein you and a bunch of your friends are in a tavern or whatever, and you basically VR punch each other with variable power sets. That's what I'm thinking.
So it's like multiplayer Punch-Out then.
Yeah, it's basically like Punch-Out, but multiplayer, and then you have variable powers. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, I could see that.
How about you? What do you think?
I was thinking something a little more direct, like doing it on either DS or on Switch, or even on like I was thinking
Wii.
like a local actually probably Switch, like a local couch multiplayer game. You could play. I think Switch will support up to 8 if you decide to do that. But you sit down, everybody can see like what card is in their hand. And then you just kind of like you flick it at the other character to the table, and so so you can see kind of like where the you can't see the totals, but you can see what who's throwing what cards where, and you can see the top card of each person's stack, and then your character cards. You just have 1 or 2 special powers per character. But you play it that way, and then with different weird arenas, things can shuffle around. You can have like walls fly up on the stage where you can't throw your cards across the wall. Or
I like that
idea. Have random like mad science things where everybody's card gets zapped and it goes up by +2 or something. And
I like that.
Or the numbers get randomized in some way. Just different things. But it'd be local couch, and every time you flick a card, like a character like says a move, or or you hear a punching sound or something like that.
So it'd be like every round would be like 10 to 15 seconds or whatever, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would be like Mario Party length, probably.
Mario Party minigame length, right?
Yeah,
like
minigame length. Yeah, so like a minute for a round.
Oh, man.
Kind of like Towerfall or Overcooked or other kind of like local couch
basically,
games.
You want to make the ultimate casual Smash Bros. That's it, right?
It might not be I don't think you could call this a Smash clone, but it would be pretty casual. Yeah, something that people can just sit down and play.
Yeah, I like that better than the VR boxing idea, because
VR boxing idea sounds pretty dangerous.
Yes, I think you end up actually
just remember, arms is pretty dangerous.
That's fair. That's fair. You're right. And imagine having like playing ARMS but against 7 other different people, right? It's gonna be really, really, really chaotic. So I agree. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think 7 Card Slugfest is like a very underrated game that I need to play more because, like, hot dang, do I love it! Has some of my favorite characters in it. So like Joel's there, Luke's there, Wardlaw's
the debut
there.
of Wardlaw.
Yeah, he's the main character.
We need to reprint it at some point, I think.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Maybe we don't. Maybe you guys listening can tell me. Should I reprint 7 Card Slugfest? Let me know what you think.
Yeah, tell us. It will be very interesting. I would also want to know if you guys would want us to talk about another game next week. Maybe something like Power Play. Oh my gosh, I love Power Play. I have so many stories about Power Play. One of our segments should just be me talking about like all the stories of Power Play that I have, because that game was like almost as popular as BattleCon with my friends. And you know how much we played BattleCon. Oh my gosh. Huh. I'll tell you a story about it some other time. But
it's such a great game when you have the right group for it.
Oh my gosh, it is. It is. Oh my gosh, it's so underrated. Like, I will always sing praises for Power Play. Always, always. Such a good game. All right. So
anyway. Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap this episode up. That pretty much does it for Otherwise. If you guys want to recommend any game to us or want us to talk about more of our games and convert them into video games, please tell us in the comment section down below. And unfortunately, Brad, well, maybe fortunately for some, this is the end of the Level Cap podcast. So, Brad, I would like to tell you one thing. Are you ready to end?
Yeah, let's call it a day. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for joining us for another episode, and thank you for all the comments and questions. It's always great to hear what you guys are thinking of and to tell you what's going on around here. So I'm your host, Brad Talton, and with me, my co-host,
Marco DeSanto.
And together we form the Level Cap podcast.
Indeed. Form of a shape of water.
So we'll see you next week, and happy gaming.
Bye-bye. Happy gaming.